ten fucking people, they don't care unless it's in. Not to get too political, but unless it happens in a white neighborhood, that's when it's talked about. America doesn't care if a black kid is listening to a song about drugs. Do you know what I mean? For Congress don't give a shit about that. It's when their granddaughters and their daughters are listening to this shit, then it's brought to their attention. Then all of a sudden they care about it. So now they care about what their kids are listening to.
Do you feel like you're carrying some sort of burden? I mean, because suddenly you're the intermediary between these two sort of colliding worlds in some ways.
Do I feel like it's a burden?
Yeah.
Like, how do you mean?
Well, I mean that you're suddenly the focus for all this debate, and in a lot of cases all this vitriol as well. And you're saying it's been going on for years, but suddenly the spotlight's brought onto you for it.
Right. I don't really feel like it's a burden. I don't feel like it's pressure. I don't feel like when people when people ride my back about lyrics and shit, like as far as like I don't know, like when I go to put an album out and I'm told by the basically the FCC that this has to come out of the album, this has to come off the album, this has to be bleeped out, then I feel like they're fucking with my freedom of speech. And when you fuck with my freedom of speech, that's when I get angry. Not when you tell me that I made a shitty record or my record is too violent. Not when you tell me that. When you try to stop me from making what I want to make, the music that I want to make, that's when I get angry. That's when I feel like I'm backed into a corner and I'm forced to retaliate. And the only way that I know how to retaliate is with my words, and to hurt whoever is backing me into that corner.
Let's talk about your music, Em, because I don't want to just talk about politics all the time.
Right.
Yeah. Can we talk about some of the production on? Let's say just take the Marshall Mathers LP for example, because it's pretty astounding the kind of sonics that go into that record. What kind of time frame and what kind of amount of work goes into those tracks? Because I mean I know you've got Dr. Dre as a producer there helping you out, but they're incredibly layered tracks.
Right. Well, thank you. The way that we do it, like the way that I've always done it, is aside from the tracks that Dre does, I produce a lot of my own stuff. Like the Marshall Mathers LP, besides the Dre tracks, I pretty much produced it myself, and as well as the Slim Shady LP. I work with a musician named Jeff Bass that he plays instruments. So basically what it is we sit in there and vibe, and usually I'll tell him what to play, and I'll usually come up with my own bass lines and write the music, or sometimes he'll have something and I pretty much produce and arrange it and put it all together. But I learned a lot from Dre. If you listen to the Slim Shady LP, the production on it, as opposed to the Marshall Mathers LP, I think you can definitely tell sonically there's a big difference. It's just a better produced album, because I watched Dre, I sat in there with him and I learned on my own. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like watched him,
Because it takes years. It takes years to really get your head around that proper studio production and get a sound that you feel happy with. I take it.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of time. Like even Dre has told me himself that sometimes he thinks that I'm more picky than he is about shit, because there'll be like one hi-hat on a song that's bugging me, or something is not dropped out in the right place. A snare drum isn't dropped out in the right place. Like, I'll go crazy. I drive myself crazy over that shit. So, but definitely, I think I'm a perfectionist, and I hope that it shows in the music, because aside from like all the controversy and everything, I feel like I put my songs together well. Do you know what I mean? Everything goes into place like where it should be, and kind of falls naturally.
So you've steered away from samplers, or sampling other people's music, at least it seems. You've got a lot more live music on your albums.
Yeah, I never really did get into sampling too much, and unless it's something that really needs, you know what I mean? Like it really needs a sample, or unless there's something like really crazy that I'll stumble across, then we'll sample it. If not, a lot of times we may